Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, Formula One's back, baby. Formula One's back, season's starting up, and with it, the Formula One podcast. Yes, that's right. A fantastic podcast returns to the CookieCast network. It's been a while, it's been a minute. But the boys are back, and Formula One's back. But more importantly, the boys are back. Ooh, tingles, exciting. What will this season have in store? Obviously, in the Formula One world, there'll be all that sort of stuff. But more importantly, in the podcast world, what will the season have in store? Is this the season that James gets cancelled? Is this the season that James and Mark let Tony forget about, the incident? Is this the season that Mark takes up a regular slot on another sporting podcast? Find out over the next several weeks and several podcasts. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Big one. Share the podcast around. If you know somebody you're like, hey, that person likes Formula One, I bet they'd love this podcast. They will. They'll absolutely love it. Send it their way. They will thank you for it. Right, Formula One's back, so let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast, straight to the apex.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's season 3 of Straight to the Apex podcast. We've had a long winter break. We're back. I say long. It was only December that we finished. Usual suspects are joining me for season 3. We've not made any in-season transfers. To my left, Mr. Tony Rawson.
Hello. How are we doing?
Fantastic. You?
Good. Very good.
Below me, James Stainforth.
Hey.
We're still here. James is still in the same kitchen. Tony
James still isn't cancelled.
Not yet, but it's a new season.
Hi, Andy.
Still going.
Sorry, Andy. We're back. We're going to upset some people. And James is still adamant on getting cancelled. So, happy editing for the season, Andy. As always, thanks to Andy and CookieCast. So, right, straight to it. Let's get to it.
Shit.
Off-season news. I've got quite a lot, but I'm going to save some of the biggies to last. AlphaTauri, no longer. Now, the Visa Cash App RB, or RB for short.
What the shittest and most confusing name ever.
It's sponsor money. Red Bull do whatever they need to do. Netflix is out. Drive to Survive, Netflix is out.
Just before we move on, what happened? What happened to the great names of like Jordan and what else? Just great engineering, motoring names. You know what I mean? I don't want to say it early.
They may be back next year. Audi. They may be back.
That's a prestigious name.
Exactly. So, Suzuka.
Anyway,
The first episode, and you said it.
What prestigious?
That's the one.
Yeah.
What do you think then, Mark? Drive to Survive. I want your thoughts.
I'm only 3 or 4 episodes in, so how far are you guys with it?
I'm 3 or 4. No, 3 actually. I fucking hate it. I think it's just getting worse every year. It's just entertainment. it's just like watching Love Island. It's just
I'm not feeling it.
I can't.
It'll be worse next year because Gunter Steiner's not on.
Just Danica. She annoys me. Just because it's Danica.
I was going to say the fact that she's on it and she has absolutely no fucking clue whatsoever.
And Will Buxton.
Oh, Will Buxton loves the camera.
He's good. He's really good on F1 channel. Really good. But the way he narrates it, it's just like every time it comes to him, he's really groundbreaking, trying to pull you in to the story.
It's the stuff he says, though. It's just like you stating the obvious. It's like with qualifying, if you finish first, that's good.
Yeah.
Is it?
You've got to remember he's talking to people that don't watch Formula One, and that's
true.
I get what you're saying. I kind of watch it, but not watch it because I don't know. It's not about F1. It's a drama that's to non-F1 fans. That's how I view it. So I really don't kind of have any thoughts on it. I don't want to give any spoilers away. It's only come out. Did it come out last Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not been out long. Yeah. I'm not. I'm interested to see how deep they delve into various things that happened last year, because I remember various podcasts we went, that'll be on Netflix. That'll be on Netflix. So let's.
I'm expecting when it gets to the Mercedes episode. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a lot around Lewis renegotiating his contracts and stuff, which you've already seen when he's sitting there with Toto and he's going, Toto, I ain't got long left to drive. You got 20 odd years left doing what you were doing, all this shit. I full on expect to see that slow motion bit of him walking across the track just after he'd crashed into George.
Yes, and that goes to my point. Well,
just a dramatic shot.
It's nice to know what's happened and look back and wonder, that was interesting. I wonder if that was the start of what happened later. That intriguing, I can see that. I can see why that happened now. That's the only reason, really.
I don't know. I think we're giving it more credit than it's due. That it'll delve into things deeper. It'll just Will Buxton will just dramatise everything. Just literally staring to the camera, making up shit that's stupid. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, enough about Drive to Survive. We are not talking about Netflix endorsing them anymore.
Not fans.
Suzuka extended their contract until 2029. The British Grand Prix will remain at Silverstone until 2034. There was some FIA saga with Toto and Susie Wolff that kind of came and went really quickly. Lando Norris signed a nice long-term deal with McLaren. And then not long after, Lewis Hamilton decided he's going to take a break in his contract and drive for Ferrari in 2025.
What?
Breaking news.
The fuck?
Lewis Hamilton is a red. And no, I don't mean Hull Kingston Rovers.
This is breaking news. And when I say breaking, this is weeks old, but, we've just got here.
It broke on the 1st of February. Obviously, we're on the ball.
If you've heard this for the first time right now,
where have you
been? Have you been living in a cave?
You 3 weeks later.
What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on Lewis to Ferrari? What will Carlos Sainz do? Who will fill the Mercedes seat? Go.
James, you go first.
Oh, you're such a dick.
Oh, I can go first.
Right. Go on.
Absolutely amazing for F1. Absolutely amazing for British fans. He goes back to the most prestigious, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, team of F1. Him, where the other legends of, arguably the best other legends of the whole motor racing have come from, steeped in history, prestige. Amazing. He's going to end his career there. Amazing. Will he win a championship there? Maybe. If he does, legend, best ever. Facts. He's a fashionist, so he's going to be amazing in Italy. He's going to imagine him in red. Imagine him in all the Italian fabrics and whatnot, and they're going to love him. F1's going to love him. It's going to be amazing. 2025, he should have a good car. I think he will have a very, very good chance. The share price went up, a few billion? So they've made the money back already on whatever contract he's on. They're going to make a few more billion because I'm going to buy a goddamn cab. That's a fact. Amazing. Sainz will be fine. He'll be fine. He'll end up in Ferrari. He'll end up in Audi like his dad. There we go. And Alex Albon, I think, will fill the Mercedes seat, which that came from my wife, who said that, and I completely agree. James, over to you.
Wow. How to follow that? We knew it was coming. We always knew he'd do it. He's always said it. Every F1 driver, as a kid, dreams of driving for Ferrari. He was always going to go there. We've even said it on this podcast a few times. When he goes to hang up his helmet, he's going to be hanging up a Ferrari helmet. He'll go there.
Do you think? Do you think we did know? Because
I disagree.
He made a lot of comments like he's been at Ferrari since Mercedes since he was young. He's been with the German brand. Almost like the Ferrari opportunity passed him. What makes you think that it was we knew?
He's always said Ferrari is somewhere he'd go. He always said if he was going to go anywhere, it'd be Ferrari. If he's ever going to leave Mercedes, he'd always go there. I don't think anyone expected him to do what he's done, where he's actually gone into his contract and just done the opt out. So that says to me he's seen the plans for next year's car. He's not overly thrilled, and Ferrari's come around. They've gone, hey, look at our plan, and he's clearly seen something there. When he went to Mercedes, everyone was like, "Are you fucking right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you genuinely going? Why do you want to go there?" And he just went, "Watch," and then 6 more world champions. He's doing it now, and everyone's like, "Are you fucking right? Why are you going there?" And you never know. He might be doing that kind of watch. I don't know, but there's a lot going on. I mean, obviously he's interested in Ferrari. He always has had that little bit of interest. The principal there he's worked with before, so he's really excited about that. Then there's the other rumours that's going around now about bloody Adrian Newey just been like, oh, that looks pretty. And
his wife,
like a tractor.
Yeah, his wife has said that Newey is always.
It's always had an interest in Ferrari.
Thought of Ferrari, and Newey and Horner are very like that. The news has just come out about Horner. Well, I think because of the recent news, I don't think that's going to happen now.
We'll talk about Horner later. We'll talk about Horner later. Let's deal with Lewis first.
Newey, honestly, Adrian, Lewis, Ferrari, fucking hell, Thanos. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's a trifecta, wouldn't it? It absolutely would. But Mercedes made a mistake. Lewis wanted to be an ambassador. He wanted that kind of title, and they was like, oh, well, no. And Ferrari was like, yeah, we'll give you it.
Yeah.
And like you said, as soon as he came out, I went, yeah, I'm going to Ferrari. All of a sudden, their shares just shot up through the fucking roof. They made their money back and more. And they're just like, you know what? Yeah, just to give him that, why the fuck not? We've got one of the best drivers in the world who's going to be in our seat next year. Granted, it's shit for signs. I get that, because as soon as I said it, we knew it was signs that was going. I agree with Tony. He'll be fine. He'll get a seat next year. I also agree about the Albon thing, because obviously he's got first refusal with Red Bull, but he ain't going to go back there. We all know for a fact he's never going to go back to Red Bull. Ricciardo will fill that seat.
Yep, 100%.
The only thing we've got confirmed now by everything that, Horner's saying, sorry, not saying, but it's that kind of what you don't say is a lot louder, is that Perez ain't going to be there at the end of the season. Well, he's not going to have.
So next year, it's a massive rule change. Obviously, 2025. And currently, only 7 drivers are under contract for 2025. So 7 out of 20. They are Hamilton, Verstappen, Piastri, Norris, Russell, Leclerc, and Albon. They're only 7 drivers. I think Albon has got to prove himself at Williams this year, because I think they're going to have a good car with James Vowles leading that team. I can see Ocon going to the Mercedes seat.
No.
He's got links to Mercedes. Toto loves him.
Sell the car.
Loves him.
No.
Or there's a young kid that they've promoted quickly to F2. They've missed F3. He's in F2 this season in a top car, and
he's 9 3/4.
Yeah, and
he's 17. So it's close enough.
He's beat all Max Verstappen's records in the junior categories. But my question is this Toto Wolff and Mercedes putting all their eggs in Russell's basket? And are they wrong? He's not a team leader for me, personally.
No.
I think they have to. I don't think it's wrong or right. I think that's the cards that have been dealt.
In a position like James said, they've made for themselves. Lewis has been there from young, very young. They won't give him an ambassador role. He's gone, do you know what? Fuck you.
I think it all boils down to the car, though, Mark. The car is not as good as what is wanted.
Well, he was frustrated last season. He wanted the seat position changed. George didn't, and they didn't change it. This year, they have changed the seat position. It's further back. He was adamant the car was doing this. Why? They was just like, oh, yeah, we'll sort it. I still think the porpoising is there. When you watch practice, we're still bouncing up and down a bit. Is he going in Ferrari to do what we've said Leclerc has struggled with all along, and what I'm saying Russell struggles with? Leclerc cannot lead a team. So is Lewis going there for the rule change for 2 years to get the designers, maybe Adrian Newey, and the car in the right direction? Ferrari have said, you've got full control of design of this car because you've won 7 world championships, should have been 8. You lead the team. You tell us where you're going development-wise. Leclerc will then pick up that mantra when you've had enough.
Yes, absolutely. And I think
he's already told him what he wants, hasn't he?
Yeah. Absolutely. It's your swan song. We want to win. You want to win. Let's make it happen. Leclerc's young. He's going to learn from you. He'll be there or thereabouts. But at the end of the day, we know, everybody knows, Leclerc knows, you are not going to be around in 2 or 3 years. So let's get you a championship. Ferrari, happy days. That's your 8th. You retire. You're done. Or you move on to something pastures new. I think you bang on there, Mark. I think you bang on.
What about, here's a one, Bottas going back to Mercedes? Any truth in that?
That's a good call. Very good call. Mr. Nice Guy is a nice guy. He's a good guy. He's the best second driver. Would he do that with Russell? Him and Russell, I don't know. I don't think there's a. I remember that tussle the other year.
Personally, Norris will be kicking himself because McLaren have been, well, we'll talk about testing in the second half, but McLaren have been slow out the blocks again. I mean, he's visibly frustrated with the car last year.
But it's McLaren, and they've given him a fat contract, and it's McLaren. Yeah. He's unless Piastri pushes him and really jostles with him this year, and they've tied him down anyway. So if he wants to leave, somebody's got to pay his contract out. Yeah. And if you're him, Jesus, you're driving from one of the best teams, one of the most commercially best brands. What? But yeah, like you say, the car's not great from the start again. Will you upgrade?
And they're not a works team anymore because there was McLaren Mercedes. They were the works team. They're now a customer. They're not the prestigious brand there was. I mean, like I said, 7 out of 20 under contract next year. There's going to be a hell of a lot of movement potentially.
Hell of a lot.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I've got what I want, what I think. I don't know. I could not see Ocon at Mercedes. I could see Bottas at Mercedes. Because I think they have to go Russell now. They have to go Russell.
Well, they have to. Yeah, they've been the hands forced, but he is the golden boy, and he'll be sat there smug. And
but he's got to perform. I think there's some pressure on him this season. He's got to perform.
He has. Yeah. Before we hit the other big topic of off-season, have you guys got any other news that I've missed?
Rather Christmas went to the Horner's house.
Yeah, that was horrific.
He's the one that made the allegations against him.
Put me off. Drive to Survive. It's just corny. It's just corny.
Has Daddy been a good boy? When
he said something about, if you ring the bell, then I'll go get the children. He's not your fucking servant. Like, he's a guy you've paid. Spoiler alert. That wasn't the real Santa.
I love the Lawrence. I'm glad I've seen that because that was fantastic. That Lawrence saying, "I'm a father first than a team principal," and I was like, "Oof, that cuts deep." No, cuts deep.
That was.
And then Lance is there like this, like. I'm so disappointed that I've broken both my wrist and my foot just before the season, and the car's really good. And Fernando's like,
my favourite bit in that episode is, I think it's when they're doing the car launch, and you've got Stroll and Alonso stood next to each other.
I know what you're going to say.
They say that I'm a pretty fast driver. Well, I'm not quite as fast as my son. And the camera cuts, and Alonso's face is just like kind of.
Really?
Oh yeah, go back and just watch it.
Oh no, yeah, I know, yeah.
I can't wait to go biking in Spain next week.
Yeah. So, you got anything, or should we go to the other point, which we've got to tread very carefully on? And I'm dreading this bit because James probably will get it cancelled when we talk about this.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Christian Horner. So, it just so happens we're recording when he's actually been, the allegations were dismissed today, and he remains in charge of the team. Very strange, considering they said it was going to take months. So, basically, long story short, again, if you've been living under a rock, investigation was raised by F1 team, the F1 team's Austrian partner, obviously Red Bull, following allegations of inappropriate behaviour in the workplace. A lot of team bosses have come out and been very cutting. James Vowles, who is not one to kind of throw allegations, he's an engineer, he's a geek. He was like, if that happened in my team, that employee would not be there. So there's a lot that hasn't been said in the media. There's a lot behind closed doors. There's allegations, allegedly, of dick pics. Jerry wasn't very happy, apparently. She probably recognised the chipolata in a lineup. What's your guy's reaction to Christian Horner, a guy we love on this podcast?
He's a naughty boy. And hiring a guy dressed up as Santa to come to your house and surprise the kids is exactly what someone who's been sending dick pics out to girls would do. I can say it. You said it first. I wasn't going to say it. You already said it.
I did.
But a guy wearing 2 watches would definitely say that.
Yeah. I mean...
But the whole thing was just... Like you said about James Brown saying, if something like that had happened at ours, we'd be dealing with that differently. And you would. The first thing that should have been done, he should have been suspended there and then. It should have been a statement.
100%.
Christian Horner's been suspended, pending investigation. Further statements will come out in due course. And that's it. But it's just like, oh yeah, we're going to investigate it, but he can continue doing his job. Right, so what have you done with the female employee then? She's still there as well, or have you managed her?
This is a really, really good point. So let's look at it from, obviously, there's no smoke without fire, but then equally, you're innocent until proven guilty. If it was one of Christian Horner's employees, so let's say, for example, there's a mechanic that works at Red Bull who's always on the telly with dreadlocks, big guy, takes over the shop. If it was him, you are 100% right, he would have been suspended. 100%.
Yeah.
Without a shadow, regardless if he's guilty or innocent on the doing an investigation or not, I'm just picking this guy. I'm sorry to this guy. I'm not saying that you're inappropriate. But Christian Horner would have come out and said, we have suspended an employee pending investigations. So what's the difference?
It's Christian Horner.
Yeah. Don't you know who he is?
Hmm.
He's got a corner.
He has got a corner. He's probably going to have one this season again.
The other thing he should be sat in the corner. The other thing I don't get is, I'm not being funny, mate, but you've got an absolute...
I knew you was going to say this. I knew he was going to say this. Right,
yeah, come on. Look, I don't care. Ginger Spice was my favourite when I was at school. I don't care. Sue me. But Jesus, she is like a fucking bottle of wine. She just gets better with age. And now she's got the posh accent as well. It's just like, oh.
Yeah, but...
It's like, mate, you get to go home to that every night. But instead, you're going to do that weird thing where you take a picture of it. And I'm not being funny, but they look like shaved rats when you do that. And you sent that to some poor innocent person.
I mean,
allegedly.
Let's be clear here. I was going to say, Jay,
allegedly.
Don't know that. That might be somebody from Holness Road that said that, and it's reached out. We don't know that. We don't know that. So
feel free, Andy, for legal reasons to bleep that last 2 minutes.
He might have said something in jest. He might have sent a message again, and somebody has took that completely the wrong way. And when you take it out of context, it could really stink. But I'm sure we've all been in situations where we've said something, and if somebody was listening in somewhere else, or they've come in the conversation at a completely wrong time, they could be like, "Whoa!" So it's been cleared.
In today's society, you can't say anything. So, like I say, I know it's Christian Horner. I know we like to hate on him. Do I think he's done it? Probably not. Probably not. But it's Christian Horner. Make it funny. Is it synonymous with Red Bull? Red Bull, to a point, is Christian Horner, and the success has come from him. And at such a point at the start of the season, to get rid of him, could that really, really, really destroy this run that they're on? Really take that guy out? Do you think? Last year there was racist comments said by various people in that organisation. There was Helmut Marko.
Well, that's true. That's a really good point.
And they've ridden all that.
Marco comes out with comments all the time.
Exactly.
And he's still there.
Exactly.
So if they want to move on and become 2024, then, in my opinion, he's one of the first people that needs to go. But
you know,
flip it.
Jokes
Flip it though. What's going to happen to this allegation now? How's that woman feeling now? And it's just happened, so we don't know. There could be a backlash. There could be something outside of F1 that could potentially happen. Like it's hot off the press, so it's hard to. It's just a crap. At the end of the day, this is crap for F1, innit? This is just. We don't want this.
Nope.
And it's bad for everybody. Nobody wins. Nobody.
I've got to say.
Go on.
Throwing the jokes aside, as well, at the end of the day, it's like we've all said. For all we know, these are just allegations. Well, it's not for all we know. These are allegations. Whether they happen or not, we don't know. But we also know that we live in a world, like you and Mark have also said, where you can't say anything to anyone without offending someone nowadays. And you know that there has been times in the past, Amber Heard making allegations against partners and stuff like that, and then it turns out it was all bullshit, and to so much so that some of that shit was actually in their bed. So yeah, is this also a case of, yes, this is just an allegation? Yes, Horner hasn't done anything, because let's face it, he's banging an absolute MILF. Why the hell would he? He is, Mark.
It's not.
He is.
He's not.
You all know it. Posh accent.
She annoys me. But that's probably a different conversation.
She annoys me.
You don't have to have a conversation with her. Just
looking at her annoys me.
Jerry.
Next segment.
Jerry, if it's true, and you're unhappy with Christian, got your back, babe.
Oh, thank God! I thought I was going to say something else.
Well, yeah, I did, and I was about to cut. So
but
yeah,
it won't go.
Anyway, so that's the news. That's the off-season, on-season, like breaking news. Obviously, we found out tonight about him being the allegations dismissed. Got a few minutes left. Why don't we take a break here, and then we'll talk maybe testing our pre-season pecking order. And James, I believe you've got our to save the shit show of last year. I believe you've got some rules in place for our pre-season predictions and other things.
Yep.
How many minutes have we got left? Because I've found a couple more news things.
Go on. We've got 7 minutes left. We've got plenty of time.
Andretti bid is rejected.
Yes.
I think it's because they were going, was it the 25 and 26 season? And it was kind of poo-pooed, which they were gutted about. If they'd gone for the 26 season, it would have been looked at differently. But the teams, as what I can hear, the teams don't want another team in because it will devalue them, even though there's points out there. So that doesn't happen, like moving money around, giving money out and whatnot, and paying different teams. I don't know. I think it's sad. I think we need more teams in F1. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think Andretti's a big name in the US, but Haas was a big name in the US and they've been shit. Why don't Andretti go in with Haas and see if they can make a good car out of them two names? I don't think we need two more cars on the grid. I really don't. I think 20 is enough. Because, like I say, we're going to have some teams totally around the back this season. Audi will then come in. We need it more competitive before we start bringing more teams in. We need the field tighter together. Yeah, I fully back not letting them in.
Anything, James?
Exactly what No, don't want more drivers.
Cool. Barcelona is moving to Madrid.
Yep.
What?
Interesting.
The actual
Not
city
the
is
city.
moving, or
The GP.
they just go, "Ugh."
The few they've got,
sorry.
they've decided to merge into one super Spanish city.
So, yeah.
Another street circuit.
Another one. Great. Amazing. Perez will be happy, won't he? Well,
if he's there.
Australia. Back to the season opener for next year.
Really?
How do you feel about that?
Good.
I always feel like Australia is the first race. It always has been.
Yeah.
It feels like that's what starts it off. Like it's at the arse of the world. Let's go there, start off, and then leave. We never go back there. I think we go close with Singapore, maybe. Mm-hmm. My geography is correct. Maybe arse was a little bit harsh. The other side of the world maybe was better.
Japan's further over than Singapore, but yeah, Singapore, Japan, China,
yeah, is a bit closer.
Yeah.
But yeah, the schedule might be extended to 30 races.
Oh, fucking no.
I told you guys, Rainbow Road's on its way. 2028, we'll be on the moon. We'll be racing in the Pacific. We'll be in Antarctica. There'll be, instead of 3 compounds, there'll be 5 with spikes on. This is the way we're going. This is the way. Anything to make money for Liberty Media.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Sauber can't be called steak in certain places because steak is betting.
Yeah.
They have to change the name. Bit annoying. And the sprint weekend format has changed. It's now a little bit different.
Again.
Than it was. Again. But it works better this time.
Okay.
And I'll quickly review that for the next part so that we're all. And that's about it, I think. I can't see any more. Yeah, Gunter's gone. That's sad.
Well, Drive to Survive next year will be shite because Gunter's like the main man.
Yeah.
Says it how it is. I like it.
So before the break, what I will ask is, what's your thoughts on the next 2 races being on Saturday with qualifying on Friday because of the religious holiday in that part of the world? So we've got a bit of a weird schedule this week and next week.
So weird because I'm used to having a Sunday roast and watching the race, or however it is. You know, I've got my Sunday routine, breakfast in the morning, race, blah 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 blah. But what I'm going to like about it is because I'm that used to it being on a Sunday, I'm going to feel like I've got an extra day off work.
For golf, that's what you're going to do on a Sunday when you your Formula 1.
I don't know if you heard that.
Was that Charlie shouting no?
We did.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. That was. But that could have been 3 or 4 hours you would have been watching the race, so that's perfect golf time.
It's a straight to the Apex meeting.
No comment.
Yeah,
on that note, we'll take a break there. See you on the other side. And if James makes it back, yeah. See you later.
Hey, you. Yeah, you that's listening right now. Thanks very much for tuning into this episode of Straight to the Apex, the Formula 1 podcast from CookieCast. If you're enjoying this episode, why not like, share and subscribe? Whilst you're there, feel free to check out some of the other podcasts that CookieCast has to offer. If you like football, we've got a football podcast. NFL more your thing? Then the Laces Out podcast is for you. Maybe even a little bit of the wrestling? Just look for the Getting Over podcast on CookieCast. Maybe you want to listen to Andy's Darkest Timeline. It's there too. So, the F1 boys have probably got themselves a drink. It's time to get back to the action.
And we are back. Part 2. ready to go. Season 3, episode 1. So, pre-season pecking order. What do we think?
Yeah, as expected.
I've wrote down a list from 1 to 10.
Wow.
So, I'm guessing we all agree number 1, Red Bull.
Absolutely. Yeah.
By a second, or not as much? Rumours are that it's about a second off again per lap.
Yeah, same story, different season, same story.
What do you think to the look of the Red Bull this season? Because it's very aggressive, very aggressive.
Yeah, it's very fast. Like
Forward thinking again. Yeah,
there's a lot of people that are saying that they've just copied Mercedes, and even though yes, it has got elements of it that looks like last year's Mercedes and stuff like that, I don't think there's much in it. And if there is, that is definitely Adrian Newey just going, look, you can't blame your car because I'm doing it how you did it, and it works for me. It's so if it is, that's Newey just showing I am the GOAT.
He's showing off. He's taking a design that didn't work for one team and saying, I can make it work.
No, I don't think that. I think Mercedes could see that design had potential, but they couldn't work it out. So, as Red Bull have progressed in their designing and engineering, and now I agree with you both. Newey's kind of gone, this is what they were on about, but we're making it work. We're not. We know the bits that you didn't. We are doing what you couldn't do.
But they had the fastest car last year, and they've gone to a design that's totally different. It's almost like he's just playing with them. I mean, the air intakes alone look like they're off a fighter jet. It's unbelievable.
I know, that's amazing. It's like a shark's mouth, isn't it?
Yeah, that car.
And then the actual bulk head looks like a whale, like a beluga whale.
Yeah, the hat. Yeah, right. All air intakes and
everything about it.
You could really get lost on YouTube when looking at the aerodynamics and the engineering. Like
I was just about to say that I'll find it after and I'll send it. There's a thing on TikTok. It's from Red Bull put it out, and it's their car driving it on a wet track, and they've got this new drone that goes at the same speed and can do that for a full lap. And honestly, because it's above head, you see in the spray, but because of that you can see the aerodynamics on the car and just how the water hugs around the tires, around the body. It's just beautiful.
There's a guy on YouTube, I think is an ex engineer of some sort for Mercedes, left when the new regs came in, pretty much. And he goes through each car, and when he goes through the Red Bull one and the Mercedes, it's like he's drawing on it, like all the air intake and the airflow, and saying, well, that's there because for this, and then it impacts on this, and then they've changed this because it does that, and that's bad, and this is good. And Red Bull are going to be, they've got the best car, they're building on it year on year, they've got the god that is Newey. Yeah, same day, same season, different season, same winner.
But in the hands of Perez, go on, James.
Sorry. What is scary is they've already said, I can't. There's something on the car. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but they've already said, "Oh yeah, in 3 races' time, we're changing that. We're getting rid of that, and we're going to bring in this other thing." And I think they've also said that in about 3 or 4 months' time, they're going to start work on next year's car. Wow. That's how far ahead they are.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous. They didn't even start like we don't care.
They were going around with high fuel loads then. If there was only 0.8 of a second in front of everyone, they knew they had high fuel. They've got so much time in the bag. Unfortunately, though, Perez doesn't seem to be able to drive it. He was very kind of mediocre in it. But that's going on from last season. I have Ferrari at number 2.
Correct. I do. I agree.
I think that car again looks quite striking. Not a lot of changes as much as a Red Bull, subtle changes, but it was the drivers both are reporting that it's not as up and down as last year's car already. It's kind of a level playing field. It's more drivable, better on the tyres. Everything that the Ferrari was terrible at last year, they say that it seems to be better.
Have they said how many strategies you have?
How many what, sorry?
Yeah.
Strategies, how many plans are going to have?
Maybe they're only going to have 10 this season per race instead of 20 on the other car.
But then that's maybe why they had 50 strategies last time, because the car was giving them all kinds of freaking warnings. The drivers were giving them all this feedback, and they basically had no fucking clue what to do. So that's why they were going for fucking plan 5.783Z.
It chewed the tyres so much it just didn't drive on the tyres very well at all.
I've heard they've gone a different route to all the other teams, and the results are what you've said, Mark. We'll see. I don't know. And is it the push rods or something at the
push rod suspension. Everyone's gone pull rod. Yeah.
They're different. So let's wait. I don't know.
There was
let's see.
A program on with Ted, as always. Shout out to Ted Kravitz. With I can't remember what team he was from, but he was one of their technical guys, and he said for the positives you get with one and the negatives with the other, it's very marginal. So he said that isn't a big deal as they've made out. But like you say, it's interesting if that preserves the tyres a bit more. Let's see if they can do it over a season. If it's all right saying it in pre-season testing, over a season. We know Ferrari started well last year. They tailed off. Don't know.
Yeah.
I've got Mercedes third. Now,
I'm not sure about that.
I'm going off the new front wing is completely different to anything any other team have done. It's been deemed legal.
We're going to see, they found that loophole, didn't they?
Yeah, the guy that was talking to Ted said it's that wing dictates everything else they do on that car. Just watch what comes this season. The fact that they've painted half of the car and the rest is just pure carbon fibre. They're still overweight. But again, Lewis and George have said it's a better car to drive. The seating position's better. I think it looks quite decent at the preseason I've watched.
I agree. Well,
I quite like the livery because I've always liked them in black, but I pretty much like anything in black. But it's just that little bit on the front, just to say, we are the Silver Arrows. So I quite like that.
Yeah.
And, when Mercedes made their, big reveal and pretty much, what was it, the other three, I can't remember the other three, I think it was like Haas and a few others. And everything at first is just carbon fibre. And it's just like every single driver out there just going, we're just going black.
Yeah.
And then, Sauber or Steak or whatever we're going to be calling them, come out with that like neon green thing. And I think Mercedes is going to be interesting.
Who have you got third then if you disagreed with Mercedes third?
I've got whoever you've got fourth.
I bet you haven't.
Before I answer that question, the livery is okay. It's nice. It blends to previous seasons. I got excited last year when it was black, and I thought this is going to be amazing. The amazing stopped after the livery. The car was shit. Anyway, interesting points they've made on their car is, again, that push and pull rod. They've put something on the side of their car, which means they can change it depending on what the race. So it's not just on the chassis. They can change it. That's interesting. I never thought they could do that, but they're obviously playing the rules and trying to do everything they can to suit the car to the circuit. I think, going back to your question, I think McLaren are third. I know they had a slow start last season. I know they're notorious for slow starts, but I think it's a shot here. I think they're going to be good from the start. They can't be like last season.
So I haven't got McLaren 4th. I've got McLaren 5th.
Oh, God.
I think McLaren are slow starters. Lando Norris looks like he's literally someone's killed his pet rabbit or something. He's drove it, and you can see his body language. It's an absolute dog again, and McLaren will do what they do and develop quickly for the season. I've got RB as 4th.
Ooh.
They have got more bits from the Red Bull. They've got more technical knowledge from Red Bull. Red Bull have rebranded them and want them to be better. Daniel Ricciardo, this is a great audition for him in a year-old Red Bull. Let's be honest, that's what RB is.
They're not allowed to share data, man. They're not allowed. But it's obvious that they're gonna.
When have Red Bull stuck to any rule?
Yeah. So it's a very good shout. I think they will be the surprise package this season for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. But I'm not as confident as you right now to put them there.
So next, I'm reckoning you've gone Aston Martin.
You see, I don't think they're going to be as good as a surprise package as last year.
Scared that you're going to get burnt again, Tony?
No, because I was. Everything that I heard from Aston Martin last year was confident, was great, was good. This year, I haven't heard much noise at all. So I think they're going to be. Fifth? I still think they're going to be like 5th, 6th, maybe 5th. I'd have them 5th, then RB 6th. But I think Mark, you've made a massive shout there. RB could be the Aston Martin of this season.
Yeah,
to get one in.
I think there will be, definitely. Next, I've gone Sauber, but I think Williams could trump them because James Vowers is a very clever guy. And seeing what on Drive to Survive, the guy just, to me, he's
knows
going to
his
change
stuff,
that team round. Yeah, he knows his stuff. He's going
I don't
to change
know.
that team.
But I've only heard that Williams took their car to testing and they hadn't really tested anything before. They'd started late, or there was something that they were late, or they hadn't done.
So Williams, throughout the years, have been renowned for finishing their car early because they're all about precision and deadlines and planning, etc., etc., etc. James Vowers has literally ripped the book up on what Williams F1 team should do and has done, and he said, "Why would you finish your car 3 weeks before testing when you could use that 3 weeks to develop your car? And if we develop it up until the week before testing, yes, things might break, but we have got a 3 week more developed car." So that's his whole thinking in it. He's a statistician. He's, like you say, he's a very clever guy. I think Williams are going to be the surprise this year. I think they may even jump Aston Martin.
That's too far, Mike. Now no, too much now, Mike. Too much.
Watch this space. And then I've got Alpine and Haas. Haas been last.
Yeah.
Yeah. The absolute dog shit of F1 this season, in my opinion. The livery, Alpine's livery, thought it was bad last year. It's horrific this year. They might as well just make it all carbon fibre and have no pink or blue on it. I've heard nothing. I've absolutely heard nothing about Alpine. And I think the few things I've heard of Haas is it's not great.
Well, Alpine are using the engine deficit as an excuse already, that they aren't allowed to develop the engine and they're about 20 or 30 horsepower down. So I would be very surprised if they wasn't even last, if I'm brutally honest.
I was going to say, it's not good that you're making... I have to say it, you're making excuses before the season starts.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Gunter leaving. I'm sorry. Unless there's something that we don't know, I don't know. I thought he was an absolute figurehead there.
But the Drive to Survive I've just finished watching, he basically says, I don't know about the car, I'm not technical, I'm not... And I think maybe this is the way it's going. Technical people need to lead that car, and I think Haas being led by someone non-technical... Proof last season, James Vowles went to Williams, they
did better.
Upgraded Haas, and the car got better and better. Haas went backwards.
Yeah, true.
So,
True. We'll see.
Any cards that really stood out for you? Like I say, you said about the Sauber, which looks like they've left the high-vis paint on. You thought, wow, what a car. Barring the Red Bull.
I think the biggest thing for me, the most thing that sticks out, and probably the most reported as well, is the front wing of the Mercedes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, watch this space. I think we got severely burned from seeing the Mercedes last year, and we got very hyped and excited. But then on track, it was absolutely terrible. So I don't know. I haven't really took much of a interest in all the reveals. And again, they change anyway.
It's going to be a different car.
Sandbag.
Yeah.
The renders are different to the actual thing, the car, and it'll change again in 2 or 3 weeks anyway. It'll be old news. So
yeah, we've had drain cover issues at testing again, damaging cars, which apparently it's caused by the suction under the car and how good they are at the minute. But that's going to be probably every race if they don't sort this out. So 24 races this year, starting obviously this Friday at 3 with quali on Friday, race on Saturday at 3 p.m. at Bahrain, finishing in Abu Dhabi on the 8th of December.
Yeah, Christmas countdown starts now.
Yay! 24 races to go till Christmas. Fantastic.
Like a giant advent calendar.
So, if I haven't got anything else, so if you guys haven't got anything else, I'll hand over to James to go through Prediction Corner.
Oh, God, we're not calling it that, are we?
No, you can call it whatever you want.
Predictions Corner. Jesus.
Hornets Corner and Predictions Corner.
So, 2 other points to raise. First, we ain't done our forfeit.
No.
We need to do our forfeit.
We do.
So we need to get that arranged very quickly. And if I remember rightly, on one of the last episodes when the FIA got involved, and then I highlighted, you know what, they've actually got me on this as well. I think we all agreed, you know what, sod it, we're all going to do the forfeit because we have all messed up somewhere in some way, shape or form with this thing. So we've all got to jump in an ice bath somewhere together.
Not together, one at a time.
Why not together?
The very small ice baths.
So it's an intimate thing. We can get some candles, some rose petals. It'll be nice.
I mean,
dominoes.
Luckily we live on planet Earth, and that has probably the largest ice bath ever.
Are you suggesting that we go to Iceland and go in the Blue Lagoon?
No, I was saying the sea, the ocean.
It's not an ice bath.
What, you want colder than the North Sea?
Oh, I'm going to say that's pretty cold.
Yeah, but there's fish and salt in that shit. I ain't going in there.
And the shit as well.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it's a North Sea.
as well.
Cheers.
Yeah,
But-
no.
We'll get that sorted in the next one.
Yeah.
Speaking of mess ups and FIA, we all went on another podcast over the break, with in the Cookie Cast Network kind of thing, and it was all asked the same kind of question: what change was we going to make? And it was all like, don't think we're going to bring in any. Well, we have, because we all at some point last season cocked up somewhere. I think some of us messed up on points. Some of us may or may not have cheated. I made one of the biggest bloopers of forgetting what we said in one of the first episodes, in case we all drew level. And yeah, and FIA suddenly got very quickly developed as a bit of a joke. I was like, you did this, and you did this, and you did this, and you fucked up on this, this, and this. So we're bringing in the FIA. We're going to have the FIA, our own FIA. The FIA is Tony's wife. Hi, Beth. And she will be monitoring us and making us aware of anything that we may do wrong. Now, we haven't agreed the full rules yet. We're going to, the three of us, or maybe the four of us probably, will all get together and discuss them very quickly. But yeah, the FIA can intervene at any point that they may choose to. I'll be the direct contact. So there may be episodes where all of a sudden I've got to go, sorry guys. And then there's like a statement coming from the FIA, and it might be something like a points deduction to one of us, or some ridiculous forfeit that we're going to have to do on the podcast. Like, I don't know. I've got to dress up as Kanye West one day for Tony or something like that, which will be easy. I'll just wrap my teeth in tinfoil.
Let's all be on our best behaviour.
What's the fun in that?
I value my life.
But yeah, so one of the things we've also discussed as well is the tiebreaker.
Okay.
Because that was where I massively cocked up last year.
Just
So-
before you go on about the tiebreaker, so I actually wrote it down in my book, the tiebreaker, and didn't think to look at the first page of the season. So I could have kind of stopped all that. However, I forgot we did a tiebreaker. So this season we won't forget we've done a tiebreaker.
You remember what we did for a tiebreaker last season?
Yeah, I've got it written down.
Go on.
So
No, I know.
go on.
Mhm.
Tony.
It was how many wins Max Verstappen will get.
Well, we had quite a lot. So we had the top three. We had James. So basically, we had three categories. We had what order we thought the drivers would finish top three, what order the constructors had finished top three, and then how many wins. I think how many wins the winning driver would get. So quickly going through them, James, you went for Max, Hamilton, Russell, Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, and 14 wins for Max. Don't get me wrong, I've not looked at this and seen who's right. I couldn't be bothered. I went for Max, Hamilton, Leclerc, Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, 12 wins. Don't know where I got 12 wins from for Max. Tony had 18 wins for Max. Max, Hamilton, Leclerc, Red Bull, Merc, Ferrari. So, yeah. So I did have it written down. I just totally forgot. I found it tonight. So, what are our tiebreakers for this season?
So, what we're going to do with our tiebreakers as well is we're going to write them down. I'm going to put them in an envelope, and they will be passed on to the FIA. And in the event of a tie, the FIA will come across with said tiebreakers and announce the overall winner.
Yep.
So the two I'm thinking of is constructors pecking order and the drivers. But I think it's safe to say we're all in agreement. It's going to be Red Bull at the top for the constructors. It's pretty
Are we
much
giving a top 5? Are we giving all 10?
I want second, third, fourth.
Second, third, fourth only. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Same for the drivers. And we'll have points, same as we do with that. So 3 points for second, 2 points for third, 1 point for fourth. And if you get all 3, you get the golden whammy.
Okay.
Yeah. This is on record.
We just need to remember by December.
Yeah, get them two written down. So second, third, and fourth in the constructors, second, third, and fourth for the drivers. Get them written down, get them in an envelope, get them over to the FIA. Hi, Beth. And then when we all forget about it in 10 months' time and we're all arguing again, Beth can just go, shut the fuck up, sit down.
This is what he said. Yeah. You Dories, because we all forgot.
We're good with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. So,
yes.
Are we doing drivers' predictions for this weekend, Ray?
Aye.
So host goes first.
Absolutely.
No, I thought you was the host then. It was me, wasn't it? I haven't written anything down. So I'm going to go Max.
Who is that?
Shock.
Gonna go
Max Verstappen to win. I am going to go Carlos Sainz second.
Ooh.
Prove a point to Ferrari. And I'm going to say... I'm going to say Leclerc third.
Cool.
Who's next?
I'll go next.
Go on.
Max. I'll go Max Verstappen to win. I would go Leclerc second. And I would go Carlos Sainz third.
James?
Interesting. I haven't gone Max to win. I'm kidding. I've gone Max to win.
Wow.
I'm just going to do whatever I want. So, yeah, I've gone Max to win. I've gone Perez second. I know, but I've just got this feeling it's going to be like the last two where it's all up for contention, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Perez's car's turned to shit.
But who will he go third? Who do you think the best Ferrari driver is?
He might go Mac.
He's not going to go Mac because he's just a maniac.
You dick.
Yeah.
You dick. I mean, you're right. I have gone Ferrari for third. But I haven't gone for who I think is the best driver.
Oh.
Okay.
I've gone Leclerc.
Oh. Interesting.
Aye.
I do think you might be right. I think Red Bull might walk away with it. He started well last year, but I've just got a funny feeling that Ferrari might go 1-2, but we'll watch the first race and we'll be all totally wrong. Okay.
Perez can throw wobblers, and I have heard I've not heard any headlines about him being fast in that Red Bull in testing.
No, I haven't heard much, but
then I think the story of this season is going to be Sainz and Leclerc. Are they going to come to blows because the mad, is it, next season? Sainz is leaving, so is Sainz going to prove a point, or is he just going to give up because he knows where he's going? We eventually will find out where it's going, or so will he go? Will he go full on? Like, I don't care. I don't listen to anybody now. You don't give a crap about me. I'll do what I
don't
want.
think he'll follow team orders. I think if there's team orders like last season, I think Sainz will just be like, you're not telling me to move out of the way.
See, I don't know, because I mean, I agree he's going to want to prove a point, and I think he will do this season. But at the same time,
Hamilton,
I don't think he's going to want to burn bridges. At the end of the day, he's looking for a seat, so he's going to want to prove a point to prove a point and flick the V's to Ferrari, but at the same time show other, constructors out there, hey, I'm up
I'm
for
a team
grabs.
player. Yeah,
another.
you might be right.
But then at the same time, it's that kind of, he doesn't want to burn bridges. He's got a career. He's got his livelihood to look after as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like he's going to be falling short anytime soon. But
no, it's a balance, isn't it? He's got to balance it. I think this season. Yeah, you're right.
DNF last season for Leclerc.
You're sorry.
DNF last season for Leclerc. Something failure. So
that's always a possibility on a Ferrari. Always. So,
go on, Mark. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, have you got predictions from your other halves?
No. Let me message her right now. Hamilton's last season. Will he go for it? Will it be the swan song, like final lap tour, 50 Cent-esque, living it up, smashing it out? Or is he just going to chill?
He's made some very interesting quotes in the news about reclaiming his 8th title.
Yeah,
his words. Reclaiming.
Yeah.
So I can see him. If the car's decent, I can see him going out on the top. Yeah, but I just don't think the car will be that good.
No, it won't. And if it is, he'll just have to fight Russell all the time, being annoying. And quickish. So I don't know. Lance Stroll's always going to be there. Will Fernando fill the Mercedes seat? I don't think so.
Toto won't want him anywhere near.
There was rumours. I completely forgot about this earlier, and I thought about it while I was waiting for the second part.
I have a prediction.
That an ex-driver was coming back.
An ex-driver might come back?
A driver was coming out of retirement, and I believe it was a former world champion.
Sebastian Vettel, German driving for German. Yeah.
He always said he'd love to come back.
I would love that. I miss Seb. I would love that. Okay.
Teach the George Russell some tricks.
Right, Beth
has gone. Max Verstappen first. Charles Leclerc second. And Lewis Hamilton third.
Have we got any from Charlie, James?
I am just asking now.
I'll say it on the podcast now. Katie's retired from predictions. She hates Max. She finished bottom. She's not that bothered.
I mean, it's safe to say if Charlie does make these predictions, which I'm hopefully she's still listening and shouting from the other room, she won't have Max to win.
No.
Oh, please, don't.
Here we go. Right, Sainz.
What? Oh, don't. Come on.
So, Sainz for the win.
Yep.
Hamilton second. And Alonso third.
Is that in order of attractiveness, or in her opinion, or is that Bahrain 2024?
No offense.
If only she played it serious.
Alonso with that little bit of shadow, he does look good. He ain't any signs with his flopsy hair and kind of stuff, but
when he speaks Spanish and he purses his lips, oof. It depends how much he crawls up Lawrence Stroll's ass this season. Depending on what it looks like by the end of it.
Yeah.
So that's episode 1 in the bag.
We did it.
We did it. It's been a long off season. Yeah.
It's weird. It's only been 2 months as well, but
feels a lot longer. Feels a lot longer. Like I say, it's going to be a long ass season this year.
Yes.
Well, hopefully that all the tracks will stay there. There won't be any floods or
Well, yeah, all the races went
Possibly
on last year.
was.
We missed quite a few races being cancelled. Yeah,
Hopefully not. We wish we could do a little prayer here and say we wish all the drivers safety and all the teams safety, and just hope everyone's happy at the end and nobody's hurt and nobody's ends up like Nick de Vries.
Max is going to retire halfway through the season because he's bored.
I solemnly hope that 19 of the drivers do really well. They don't get hurt. Yeah.
On that lovely
I hope it's more competitive.
That's all I want this season. That's all I want, some proper racing.
I think it's just don't watch Red Bull and just watch the mid-race.
Mm.
I hope somebody takes out Max.
We might be surprised.
But just once. Just once. Just full on just goes, oh no, I'm really sorry.
We might be surprised. I've got a feeling we won't be.
Where Sainz actually shows us all what he's really going to do. He's going to do qualifying, come out first, pull out on race as soon as the lights go out, and then as soon as everyone's behind, he's just going to slam on and cause a massive pile up. Get out of his car and just go, fuck you all.
What would Ferrari do if he won the title? Just throwing it out there. What the hell would they do? They'd be like, oh, shit. I mean, that would be ace.
Oh, it'd be awkward, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I kind of want it to happen now just to see.
But let's be honest, it ain't going to happen.
No.
But right, so on that note, thanks for joining us, everyone that's listened or watched. If you've watched, unfortunately, I don't think anyone watches. I don't think anyone listens, but hey, we can only hope. I know. On that sour note, thanks for joining me. Thanks to CookieCast. We will see you same time next week.
See you soon, lads.
Bye.
Peace.
So there it is. The first one done. First one of many. Plenty of races to come. Plenty of podcasts to come. It's good to see the boys back. Good to welcome you back. If you're new, welcome. Join us next week where there'll be more Formula One. Amazing. Until then, if you want to keep in the know, keep in touch, keep finding out about the podcast, like, share, subscribe and comment. You can also leave reviews, Apple, Spotify, Audible, places like that. Leave a review, say this is the best Formula One podcast in the world ever. If you leave a review, we'll send you something. How about that? Check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we've got social media links and an email button. That way you can get in touch with us, get in touch with these guys. You can say, hey, love your podcast. It's the best. Right, there we go. That is it for this one, but come back for more. Come back for next one. Until then, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
Thanks for listening. If you like this episode of CookieCast, please like, share and subscribe.